Hello and welcome. My name's Kim. I'm just going to be doing, for this video, I'm going to be doing a small tutorial or an introductory tutorial to Doodly. For this, I'm going to be doing probably a mid-level tutorial. I'm going to assume that you know the interface and you know how to get around the interface. And when I'm talking about the different bits and pieces, you're going to be able to find them. So I'm going to guess that you guys already know how to do that. So let's get into it. So the tutorial that I'm going to be doing is showing you how to do a pencil reveal, draw an outline, and then a color overlay over the top. It's fairly straightforward. It's just a nice little effect that can be added to anything, just to have something a little bit more interesting than just black and white. All right, let's get into it. What I'm going to do for this, I'm actually going to start up a new project completely in clean. I'm just going to do a whiteboard introduction. So I usually give it an interesting name or a name that pertains to the production. I usually use a couple of letters and then the name itself. Just because I like to organize it when I get lots of scenes, it's nice to have a good naming convention. So PRs for me usually is the project I'm working on. Well, actually this one is not going to be that. It's going to be BK for me. And that's just whiteboard. That's the only introductions you usually get to start off with. And then it'll just start creating a new interface. Off it goes. So this is the typical default interface when it does open up. There's, your scene in the middle, there's the action script on either side, and there's all your assets on the other side. It's fairly standard. I don't do that much with it, so I don't change that much with it. But what I want to show is just a revealing black line, a drawn black line, and then a color over the top. I kind of like this effect. I think it works really, really well, and it's a little unique that not everyone does. So I'm just going to show you how I go about actually doing this line reveal. First thing you need to do is actually import in the props. I've already got them in here. I'm actually going to show you two ways of doing it, but I'm going to bring them in again so you can see how I do it from scratch. So first thing I need is the line drawing. I'll just bring that up so you can have a look at it. It is just a default line drawing. It's just black and white. I like lines, so it's just done as a default line drawing. I'm using it as a image, not an SVN or an SVG. I'm just using a PNG, which is a black and white, and it's got the alpha channel involved in it. So this one will just be again, naming it with the names that I know, the letters for the project I'm working on, and just a name that goes along with it. So that'll load into the background, and then it'll load into my library, which I want as well. The other image which I'm going to use then is also the other image I'm going to use is a color image that's got the black lines on it as well. So the other image I'm going to use is that one. So you can see it's still got the black lines there, but it's all colored in now as well. So I'm going to use that one as well to give me my color, which will go over top of my black line drawing. You can see it brings it straight in and it puts it there on the title straight off. I'm going to want to bring in my other asset as well. Card. I'm going to make it similar sort of naming so I know which one it is. And bring that one in too. So that'll be all my assets that I require for this little project to work. One and then the other. Oh, that one loaded up really quick. Excellent. So what I'm going to do now is line them up. So when you actually select your image itself, it's got its settings up here. The settings is what's really handy. So if I click on the image, click on the settings, you can turn down the opacity, which helps you line it up. So I'm just going to wind it down to 40%, just go apply, which means I can now line my image up really well. I'm just going to use my up and down keys to line up those black lines so that they are right on top of each other. And because I dragged them in, the scale should be right, but as you can see that some of the back lines are actually not lining up the same way that they should. So one image is smaller or bigger than the other. So if I mount one corner, so scaling inside Doodly, they lock the top left, so that corner is now locked. So I can just scale my other image down till it matches, and I can see when it does. Move it down just a little bit. Line it up so that all my lines line up nicely. My black lines are really the ones I want to line up because they are what come through. So there we go. So one on top of the other. Once I've done that, now I want to actually turn my opacity back up to 100%. Cool. But really I want to start off with my line drawing because that's the one I want to reveal first. As you can see, it's the first one on top of the layer. So there it is, and I'm going to hit the little button up here called edit. I don't care for that anymore, that can go away. I just want to get rid of that too. I just want to see my line drawing, which I've got selected, and I'll click on the edit tab, and that brings up my line drawing. Over on the top right, you'll actually see that it's drawing it, it's revealing it the way it will reveal it. Now, me being an artist, I'll sit here and go, that's not really the way I'd want to reveal this car. This car shouldn't be revealed that way. You know, I'd sketch it out the way I want to do it, which is what I'm going to start doing now. I'm going to start putting in the lines for where I'd want to draw. First thing I'd probably start off with would be over, because I'm right-handed, I normally draw right to left. So I'd probably start across this outside white line and then sketch my way across. So first thing, most things I normally do, I'll go through and I'll actually name my paths as I do them. And I'm thinking about where am I going to be taking the pencil off from. So first line is going to be right side. And because I've only got the line drawing, I can actually make my lines quite large when I put them in. And I start at the front, just whip along here. Now with these, when I'm doing these, I'm usually thinking how quickly I'm going to want these to go. Like if it's depending on what sort of logo it is or what sort of design it is, depends on how quick you're going to want it to reveal. For this, I'm going to want it to reveal fairly quickly, so I'm not going to want to take my pen off that often. I'm going to want my pen to be on the line most of the time. So with that, I really want few dots. And because I've got white around the, because I've taken all of the bits off that I don't want, I can actually be fairly loose with my sketch and make my lines even bigger. I can be fairly loose to go around and go over top to reveal these black lines. Which is why I like doing a black line drawing separate to the actual color, because I don't have to be as pedantic about where I'm putting my dot points. If I'd actually had the whole image in one, I'd have to be very careful about where I'm putting my first line. As it is, you know, I can sketch really quickly going, okay, cool, there's my first line. And then I'll add a new path and I'll start again, and I'll probably do like the top half of the car. So, top half. Top half, naming it all right again, and then off we go again with the next sketch, which I think I'll probably do the windscreen. The more dots you put on, the longer it takes for Doodly to get around and actually draw the line. So if you do few dots, you'll get a quicker line drawn. You got to be careful with the way you run around corners, because Doodly will calculate how it goes around the corners, and if you do it too sharp, it'll do some really weird interpolations of how the pen goes around a corner and what it reveals. So, and while I'm here, I'll just go around this mirror just to get it up. And while I'm going, I might just kind of sketch over the roof without having to take the pen off and not have to create a new line. I'll try and not reveal the door at this point, so I'll make sure my little red revealer is outside that door line as it bends around the corner. way down to there. Just like that, and that'll be my next line. Probably from there, I'll probably want to reveal all the details in the bonnet, because that's where I'll go next. So I'll put a new path in here and go front. Now me, I like using a tablet, so that's what I'm working on, using a tablet. Just as an artist, me being an artist, my background is in art. I like using a tablet. I'm very comfortable with a tablet. So I tend to use a tablet more than I do a mouse. As you can see, this one's really jutting out over top of it, but I've already revealed that line, so I'm not too worried about that. Around and back again, and then I want to come down and do this circle. Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll go and reveal. Just done that top line. Maybe I'll reveal this line up here. So this, just with, I'm thinking about the way this will reveal itself. It'll be all fairly quick, because I think at the moment it's set to reveal over 3 seconds. I'll probably make that even quicker, just because it doesn't need to take that long to reveal. Like the line itself, most people are not going to be watching this for the details of how it's drawn. They're going to want to just see what it is really quickly. So while I put quite a lot of effort into the reveal and how the reveal happens, it's really not, for the average viewer, it's not really hugely important for the way it's done. I could get really detailed and make sure that I spend a lot of time getting these curves to work and it reveals exactly the way I drew it, but in the end of it, most of the time, quite happy any old way that it works. And again, like I said, since I've deliberately done this as a black drawing without the color, I can be quite messy with the way my path reveals. I'm not lining up all those black lines individually with the way the black lines would work. If I had it all as one image, like the color and everything as one image, I would have to be really careful about the size of my path that I was going through here, and that the path itself was being revealed only and not the color behind it. But because I've split it off and I've got the color as a separate thing completely, I can be really quite rough with this particular part. When it gets to the color reveal though, it'll be a different story. I'll have to be a bit more careful with the color, but right now I can mash these up really quick and not be too. It still takes time, and I'll probably just do this, put these lines in and speed the video up, just so you're not having to watch me put 300 or 400 spots in, because spots are pretty boring watching someone put spots on the screen. So that's not very good. So yeah, I'll finish this off, and I'll speed it up and get back to you once I've actually got all my spots in place. All right, so there we go. That's the car's now, the outline of the car is now completely done. As you can see, I've got bits and pieces crossing over everywhere here. Like up here, there's a line going over things. I've scaled lines fairly big. Most of them are relatively clean and just driving over top of it. But over top of the black lines, but there's a few of them which I'll just go over and neaten up a little bit, because you know they're not quite coming out over top, they're not quite covering their lines. But you know, if I wanted to get really detailed, I'd go in a bit further and make sure that I didn't have any jaggedy edges like that one, or making sure that everything was completely covered over, like just that wasn't coming out. This one here as well is not being covered up, so just that all the black lines are being revealed at the time that I want them to be revealed. Because if you do miss any at this point, Doodly will then just pop them at the end. So once it's actually done all its sketching around the outside, it'll just pop whatever's not been revealed via the pencil. It'll just pop in, and that doesn't look really great at the time if you just have bits pop in when you don't want them to. It's just kind of makes it look like you've lost control of your lines. Doesn't look like you've actually sketched them on, which is what you're really after. You're really, you know, you're wanting this to reveal like it's been drawn on. So you want to reveal these lines which you've drawn like they've been drawn on. There are some programs you can get. I haven't tried actually making this with an SVG, but I've always just done it with a PNG just because that file works for me. But SVGs are meant to work as well. But that's the sketch now revealed. So now that I've got it all working the way that I want, I can see in my sketch window here that as it comes up, it goes, okay, cool. It sketches out really nice. I'm going to save and return. And that will then save all those lines to the image. So I can always test it along the way now if I want. I can hit preview and go boom, 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 dum, dum. All right. So you can see that it's not lining up quite perfectly yet. I am not that flustered about it. There are two things which I want. There's a couple of settings which I want to change. As you could see then as we watched the preview, you can see that after it's drawn it on, it rubs it out, which is not what I want. I don't want that to be rubbed out. I want the color to go straight over top. So there is a little setting down in the timeline here, settings. So besides the scene settings, which is the one I always found to start off with, down here there are also more settings. So if I hit the more settings down here, we can see that the transition or the erase mode is a smart mode. I don't want to use smart mode. I actually don't want it to erase at all. So I'm just going to turn the eraser off and then apply the transition. Boom. Applying, save successfully. So if we watch a preview now, boom, boom, it doesn't take away the line drawing. So let's actually just zoom in here a bit more, because that's really bugging me now, just that little bit. This one and this one, there you go, this one's a little bit off, so let's just put it up 1 pixel. Preview it again, see if it rubs it out perfect this time. Looks much better. Awesome. So there we go, we've got that working. Now the next thing is the color image. I'm going to show you first off just with this full color. I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. The first one's with the full color, and the second one I'm going to show you is actually splitting it out with 3 different colors. So the same thing again with the color image. I'm just going to use the little edit button. Click on the edit button and it'll bring it up, and I can then show which paths do I want. Now I don't want it just to, I would like it to actually do the colors separately. I'd like it to do you know, the brown, the grays first, probably the dark gray, then the light gray, or maybe I'd like it to split the colors up so that it did one color first and then the rest. So I might start off trying to go around the edges and do the grays first, because they're smallest. So I'll start off doing the dark gray. So again with my tool now, I'll go first path will be dark gray back wheel. Or actually I might do the light gray first, because the thing I'm looking at as I do reveal is how many paths am I going to need to get these little gray guys out. There's 1, 2, 3, because I am going to have to lift my pencil between each of them. So let's just do dark gray 1, because the dark colors would probably go on last. You'd start with your light colors first and then do dark colors, but I'm going to start off with my dark gray 1. And I know I've got my black drawing, which looks really, really good because that thick black line will be what my edge is, and it'll kind of hide. It'll hide my it would be like a seam hider, so I can change my I can put my lines around the edge of the dark underneath the black because we've revealed the black already on a separate layer. So the next thing I'm going to want to go around and just massage the colors so that the colors come underneath the black. That's why I wanted a black line, so I can go around and just reveal them. Now, the thing I've got here, which is really for me quite frustrating, is I've only got a little black outline, a little grey outline. Whoop, undo. Which is going to take me a long time to fill that in. You look at that, look how long that takes. So I'm going to do the dark grey outline, and then I'm going to do a dark grey 2, which is going to be a fatter pen, and I'm going to whack through that a lot quicker. So when I go around here, I've now got an edge to work on, but I'm going to make this one a lot fatter because I've got a bit of an edge now. I can use that edge a lot better to just fill that grey in really quickly, because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, but I also don't want to reveal the light grey either. There you go. And again, you know, this I'm also going to make this is currently set for 3 seconds, so I'll probably make it happen quicker than that. So now again, I'll go back to a thin line to do the next one. So I'll go around this one this time, and I'll do a thin grey line with this one around the outside. You can see I'm going over top my black lines here, which I don't really want to do. I want to try and stay inside my black lines, because my black lines again can hide any sort of reveal that I do or any sort of overlap. So I'll do that one, and I'll get lazy now. Well, actually probably not lazy. I'm just going to copy that because I'm going to use it so often. Dark grey 3, there we go. Do another one, and I'll make this one fat there again. So now we can see I've got a stack of just the dark grey ones as I've gone through, and I've put in lines to reveal all the dark grey. As you can see in the preview, you can see that the dark grey is now getting revealed. So the next colour on top of that I'm going to want to reveal is the light grey. So light grey is then straightforward, just the only other colour here is just light grey. So I'm going to go around and reveal the light grey after that. So similar sort of things to what I did with the dark grey, just new path. I have to write this one in. Oh no. Actually having to type again. Oh dear me, what am I ever going to do? But there we go, copy that. Now I can go into the light grey paths. I'm going to have to reveal the windscreens, the lights, the grille and the tyres. So now you can see with all these paths, I've now coloured all of them in grey. You can see how many grey paths there are. There's 26 grey paths, which is a lot of grey paths. And that's only 2 colours. But the last one now is the red. The red's the big one. And I just wanted to reveal this in big long stripes all the way through now. So my last one will just be a single one called red. And that will be the last big reveal of what I need. Is the red, R-E-D. And that should be everything revealed. So let's just have a look, save and return. So now we've done both of them. So let's have a look at it when we do a preview. Excellent. As you can see with that preview, if we just play it again, and we'll just kind of pause it here and there, we can't drag it through, but we go through there. The line drawing comes up pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. But as we go through here now, like as we're getting the greys done, let's just stop at the end of the greys. Oops. Back, and there. You can see how that at the end, this is the one thing when I started doing this one, I'm like, I'm getting all these reds popping up. You know, how do I get rid of these colors which are popping up when I don't want them to be? It was really, I kind of looked at that and went, you know, it just didn't look too professional when I did it that way. I'm quite happy with the result. I mean, when you do the preview, it looks really good. Boom, 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 boom. And the reveal's really nice. And we get that out. It's a passable effort. I'm quite happy with that, just like that. And I can go through that and export it now as well. BK logo design. If you like this, I am doing a charity run, which I'll leave a link through down in the description. If you found this tutorial helpful in any way at all, and I'd really appreciate any donations going towards the Australian Cancer Council, follow the link in the description. That'll take you to a donate page, and I'd really appreciate it and show with the Cancer Council. Excellent. Thanks for your attention. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully I might do some more for you if this goes really well. Have a great evening. Bye.